Hello and welcome to this, the sixth scenario in the Storming the Citadel, Gross Deutschland at Kursk Chain of Command campaign, Pint-Sized campaign. This is the last scenario, or at least the last map in the campaign itself. Number 6, the Germans are yet again attacking, the 5th of July. Sorry, no, this is the 6th of July now, so it's actually moved on a day. The Germans are now attacking Kachesi, I think it is. It's pronounced, after capturing the small village in the previous games. They have to win this to claim a major German victory. Otherwise, it may go on, and the Soviets will get more and more reinforced if they do. So they're kind of got to finish it off here if they can. But this is the setup for it. What we'll do is, as usual, I'll show you the table, I'll show you the figures involved, and we'll get on with this game and see who wins. So this is the table looking from the Germans' end. It's across the long axis here. The German jump-off points are down this end here. There's a little bit scattering of light cover, a hill, some trees and some buildings over there. Not quite an open field, not a great deal of cover for the soldiers to try and use. Just a point here to make is I did the patrol phase by using I Would Like to Rage's program. He's developed a program that allows you to move through the patrol phase for Chain of Command, and it really speeds things up. It's well worth checking out. I'll put a link for it into the description of this video so you can check it out yourself, but it's a fantastic time saver. So I was able to do that on the computer and then just set up exactly where my jumping off points were. So you've seen the three German ones down there, 2 behind the buildings over there and 1 right on the very edge of the table. Over here we have the Soviet jumping off points, so we've got a couple by these buildings here. This is the objective for the Germans here. There's a jumping off point in there. I haven't put it in because I know it's there anyway. And then they have another one here behind this hill as well. So that's the table. That's how it looks. I'll show you the forces involved with this one and explain those. And as I say, we'll then crack on with it. So these are the forces that are involved. We've got the German platoon. This is Platoon A. This has actually lost 6 men over the course of this campaign from that very first game. So they've been removed, the killed in actions. So they've basically got 3 sections, each made up of 2 teams, largely of now just MG34s. Each of these teams has 1 extra rifleman in them. This one is just a 3 crewman for the MG34s. They've also, they were able to roll quite high for their support options, so they've got 2 Marders this time, so they brought those on. The Russians on the other side they have now got a completely fresh new unit, so they brought in a completely fresh platoon. They're also allowed to carry over one of the sections from the previous platoon as well, so they've put that in because it wasn't too badly damaged. So they've got 5 sections of infantry, so it's a lot of men there to soak up damage. And they've also plumped for a CIS-3 76mm anti-tank gun. They paid for entrenchments for this to go in as well. I was definitely paying for entrenchments because I've just finished off these entrenchments. So they were going to be used in this game anyway. Well, I was hoping for. And so that's what they're facing. So they've got a little bit of anti-tank capability against these 2 vehicles. And let's just see how they all get on with this. Okay, so we're starting off with our force morale. Both of them, the Soviets is a 9, the Germans is also a 9. As you may remember if you've watched the previous videos in this, the Germans get 4 extra dice which they can spend throughout a game. They don't come back, so they can use those as command dice. But they're just going to start off with their normal command roll, which doesn't look great, to be honest. So we've got 2 3s, junior leaders, 2, a 2, and that was a 1. Well, that could be 3 junior leaders, so that possibly could bring on the Marders, and also a section, or a couple of sections in a Marder. So it's not so bad, but let's see what they do with it. So the first German turn has seen them bring on 2 junior leaders with their Marders, put them both on Overwatch as well over here, and also 2 sections, as we said. So just 1 section is deployed over here, the other section is deployed, but with the junior leader has put it on Overwatch as well. So they're now looking down that corridor of fire in this light cover. So that's all they've done. Let's see what the Soviets do in response. Right, let's see what the Soviets can do in response to those German armour. Alright, so 3 sixes, that ends the turn, so that removes all the German it removes all the German overwatch markers. 5 gives them 1 chain of command points, so that's pretty good. And then they have a 4, which that will be a senior leader, but that's not particularly useful. So all they're going to do really is remove those overwatch markers from the Germans and then move on to their next phase straight away, because there's no point bringing on a senior leader on his own at this point. It's far too early. So let's see what they do with the next one. 6 alone does nothing. They have a 3, junior leader, again, senior leader, and a 1 is a team. Well, so that's not great. Again, they could bring on their anti-tank gun, or they could bring on a section. But I'll have a think about this one. The Soviets have elected to bring on just 1 section under a team leader, a section leader here. So these guys have come on. These are the ones with, they have 2 LMGs in there and 4 rifles, and they're going to be firing at the Germans on the edge of that little woodland, so they're in light cover. But it's going to be a 5 or a 6 to hit them in the first instance. Hopefully this is going to stop the Germans from being able to advance up that open area there. So let's just see. So we've got, let's get rid of all the misses. This is actually better than I was expecting at that range. So we've got 2, 4, 6 hits. So that's 3 on each of these teams. They've also got a junior leader in there. But they're in light cover, so a 6 is a kill, 4, 5 is shock. So for the first team, this is the team that only has the 3 crew of the LMG. So that's a kill and a shock straight away. So let me put that shock on just while I remember. And we also have a junior leader in there as well, so let's roll to see if he's the one that's hit from that kill. No, he's not, so it's just one of the rifles in that LMG team. So the Germans are taking hits already, and the other team is, let's see, 2 1s is nothing, and a 4 is, that's another shock as well. So already they're piling that shock on straight away. So already this may prove to be a particularly difficult scenario for the Germans. But let's have a look what they get with their rolls. So a 6 in this scenario, in this campaign, a 6 on its own gives them a chain of command dice, or point should I say. So they get 1, they also get 1 for that 5 as well, so that takes them up to 2. They then have a 4 senior leader, a 1 is a team, and a 3 is a junior leader as well. Well, the Germans are firing back. They're going to use their team to fire 1 team with the LMG and a rifle at the Soviets behind the fence in light cover, and then they're going to fire with one of the Marders using the junior leader attached to that. So first of all, firing at effective fire, so 5s and 6s, effective range, sorry, so 5s and 6s to hit. This is for the LMG and the rifles. So we're looking at, let's see, 4 hits. The Soviet section is just 18, so the hits are hits across them. Light cover, as I said, 6 is a kill, 4, 5 is shock. Let's have a look. So nothing at all there. 2 2s and a 1, so terrible firing from the Germans. However, we've got the Marder that is firing. Now this fires at effective fire, so it's a 4, 5, 6 to hit, and it also reduces cover by 1, so that means we're getting rid of that light cover. So let's have a look. Oh, that's everything. 5 hits. That's more like it. And then kills on 5, 6 now. Shock on 3, 4. So let's have a look. Right, that's 3 kills and 2 shocks straight away. So we'll get that shock in. And then we'll see if their junior leader has been hit as part of those kills. So let's have a look. So under a 3 he has. 1 to 3 he has been. No, he hasn't. But they've still taken 3 kills there. That was probably the best result they could have got, really. Okay, so back to the Soviets. So we've got a 5, so that gives them another chain of command points. So that's 2 they've got now, so get rid of that out of there. So again, their senior leader, so that's a 4, but they have 2 junior leaders and a team Could always bring on the AT gun at this point and try and reduce the threat of those Marders a little. Let's just have a think. Right, what the Soviets have decided to do is they have brought their anti-tank gun on, SIS-76, SIS-3, sorry. They put that up on the top of the hill to fire down on those Marders, because they're obviously going to do a hell of a lot of damage after that last turn. They've given the junior leader over here to their section, who has reduced shock, and he's then getting them to fire again at those Germans over there. So we'll do that bit first of all. That's slightly easier. So the Germans are still in light cover. We're looking at 5s and 6s to hit. Let's see what we get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits this time. Yeah, that's all there is in there. So that's 3 and 2 split between the two teams. So the smaller team will take the 2 hits. Let's see what happens to them. 3 and a 2 is nothing because they're in light cover, so they need 4 or more. And the other team is 2 1s and a 3. So again, nothing there. So very desultory fire. Now we've got the anti-tank gun. That's firing, so it needs a 5 or above on 2d6 first of all. So it's just going to fire at the closest Marder to it, the one on the right from this end. So that's a 5, so that is a hit. It has an anti-tank, an AP of 7, so it needs 5s and 6s firing at the front of the tank. So a 6 is its only effect. The Marder has 5 armour, so let's roll that, and they're saving on a 5 or a 6. So a 6 is 1 net hit, so that may affect it, so let's just see what happens with that. Equal hits, so it is, roll the dice again, 1 or a 2, no effect. So terrible firing there from the Soviets this turn. Okay, so we're back with the Germans, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw in one of those extra dice, their special dice, because they want to get those 2 Marders moving. A, to tackle with that AT gun, and also to bring down a bit more fire on those infantry if they can. So I'm going to try to increase the chances of me getting a 3 for them by rolling that extra dice. So let's just see what happens, and if they get what they want. Well, a 6 on its own on that dice does nothing. Well, 2 6s actually ends the phase, retains the phase, so they keep it anyway. So they've got a 3, a 4, which is a senior leader, a 1 and a 2. So they could actually turn that into a 3, into another junior leader, and then get the 2 Marders doing something. I think that's probably the best thing, because they do get to retain the phase. Okay, so the first Marder is going to be firing at the AT gun on the hill. So it's firing a HE, so it's only firing 5 dice. The AT gun is not only dug in, but it's got the shield on it as well. So the shield gives it light cover. Also being dug in as well is giving it light cover as well. So I'm going to call it heavy cover. So that is now reduced by 1 because they're firing anti-tank fire at it. So in the effect, it's just going to be light cover rather than heavy cover. So by the first shot, it needs 4, 5, 6s to hit, and there's 5 crew in that on that AT gun. So we're looking at 4, 5, 6s. So that's 5 hits, blimey. And as we said, it is in light cover. 6s are kills, 4, 5 is shock. So no shock and no kills. So the second junior leader, our second one, is going to be the other Marder, and that is also going to fire at the same target. So same again, 4, 5, 6 to hit in the first instance, so that's 3 hits this time. He's obviously not a Panzer Ace. And same again, 6 is a kill, 4, 5 shock. So we've got 1 kill and 1 shock, so let's put that shock on. And then we've got the 1 kill. Let's see if it's the junior leader. No, it's not. It's just one of the crewmen. So the Germans have that second follow-on phase, so I'm going to throw in that other dice as well. Again, it works pretty well in this particular phase. I'm kind of desperate to get rid of that AT gun at the moment because that's the big threat. Let's see what we get out of this. So that's cocked, but it's on a 5. It was pretty much on a 5. Right, so we've got the 5 gives the Germans a chain of command point. Takes them up to 3, so they've got a 2, which is a section, a 1, which is a team, a 3, which is a junior leader, and 2 4s, which is their senior leader. So again, they could ignore the senior leaders and go straight into 2 more teams of Marder firing. I think that's probably the best thing to do. Just if we can just get rid of that AT threat at this point, and that's probably the best thing to do. So we're firing with the first one, same again, 5 dice, 4, 5, 6 as a hit, it's in light cover. So we've got 2 hits this time, obviously the Panzer Ace has worn off, and 6 as the kills, 4, 5 being shock. So that's one more shock, so that takes them up to 2. And then we have the other Marder firing, same again, junior leader firing again. So we were looking at 4, 5, 6s, so only 2 hits this time. So 6 of the kills, 4, 5 shock. So 2 more shock on that AT gun. So that takes them up to 4. They're almost pinned. And then we're back in with the Soviets. Although that AT gun is not destroyed yet, it's been pretty heavily suppressed. But let's just see, we've got 5 gives them a chain of command point. Get rid of that. Two 6s, they retain the phase, so that's good for them. Then they also have a junior leader and a section as well, so they can at least do some firing back at these Germans. Right, first we're firing with the AP gun, the anti-tank gun, sorry. So that's firing, it needs a 5 or above to hit, but it's got +4 because it has shock on it, so it needs 9 or above on 2d6. Firing at the closest Marder, a 6 is a miss anyway. And then we're going to be firing with our infantry section, again at those Germans down at the bottom in light cover. So we're looking at 5s and 6s to hit them. Let's see how many we've got. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't forget the Soviets do retain the phase anyway. 2 hits spread across the 2 sections, 2 teams, sorry. So for the first team that's already taken a kill, 5s and 6s the kills, sorry, 6s the kills, 4, 5 shock, 1 and a 2 does nothing, and the other one, 2 2s, nothing again. Absolutely terrible firing from the Soviets. Well, back with the Soviets, the second phase, 6 alone does nothing. 2 junior leaders, 3 junior leaders in fact, and a team. So actually that's a pretty good roll for what they need at the moment. Right, what we've got here then is the Soviets have reduced shock with this junior leader, then they're going to fire, same again at those Germans. The junior leader with the anti-tank gun has reduced shock, and that is also going to fire. And then they've also brought on a second section here, which is going to fire at those Germans as well. So we'll start with the AT gun. It's got -3, so it needed a 5, so now it needs an 8 or above to hit. 7, so that's a miss, unfortunately. So then we move on to the first Soviet section over here, firing again at those Germans. The Soviets really need to break the Germans' morale in this one, more than anything else. So we were looking at 5s and 6s to hit. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 3 hits on each of those German teams. They're in light cover. So for the first team, the smaller one, 6 of the kills, 4, 5 shocks, so that's 3, 3, 1, nothing. And then the second team, the same again, 6 of the kills, 4, 5 shocks, so they've taken 1 shock. So that's taken them up to 2. And then we have that other section over here, they are firing as well at the same target. 5s and 6s are hits again here, so we've got 1, 2, 3. The Germans are probably going to want to avoid getting bogged down in a long range fight because they probably just don't have the manpower at this point. But we also need to get rid of that AT gun. So the Soviets are kind of trying to block them as much as possible. The Germans will put the 2 shots on the bigger team. So 5, so it's taken another shock. So they're going to have to get rid of that. So they're up to 3, and then 1 hit on the smaller team. A 4 is another shock on them as well. So they're now on 5 shock. But they do have a 6 men in there, so they're okay, I think. Is it 6 men? 4, 6, 7 men, sorry. So they're okay for their pinned status at this point. Right, well, whilst that anti-tank threat is still on the table, the Germans are going to use another dice to see if they can get those junior leaders doing something. So their 6 on its own does nothing, but gives them a chain of command point. So it does do something, but there you go. It's building that up slowly. And then we've got a 4 senior leader, 3 junior leader, another 3 a junior leader, and then 2 1s. So that could be a section. That could be the last section. They could bring on that senior leader as well and reduce some of this shock. Right, the Germans have They're using the 2 junior leaders to fire with the Marders first of all at the anti-tank gun. They've also brought on their senior leader and a section as well into those trees down there. The senior leader has reduced shock on that team, those 2 teams, and they're going to fire over here at the Soviets behind the fences. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with the infantry fire first of all. So we've got the 2 LMGs and a rifle firing at these in light cover. So we're looking at 5s and 6s to hit in the first place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. And given the angle of the fire, I'm going to say they can only really hit this section here. So 5 hits. Behind cover, 6 is a kill, 4, 5 is shock. So that's 1 kill and no shock. So that's 4 of them down. Let's see if it's their junior leader. A 1, and it is. No, it's not, so we'll just take off a base of 4 infantry. So that's reduced the Soviets somewhat at least. Then we've got the 2 Marders firing. The first one, well, they're both going to fire at the anti-tank guns. First one first of all to see what happens, and then the other one will decide on where it's firing when it has done its. The first one's done its thing. So we're looking at 4, 5, 6s to hit. So we've got 2 hits on it, and we said they are in light cover because they are behind the sandbags on the thing. So 6 is the kill, 4, 5 shock. So that's 2 more shock on there, and they have reduced that down to 3, so that's now back up on 5. That means they're actually pinned now, so that's going to reduce their firing. And then we've got the other Marder, and that is also going to fire at the AT gun as well. So 4, 5, 6s to hit, and we've gone 1, 2, 3, 3 hits this time. Same again, 6 is a kill, 5 is another shock, so that takes them up to 6. Slowly picking away at them. They haven't broken yet though. Right, let's see what the Soviets can do with their turn. Double 6, they retain the phase. 4 is a senior leader, a 2 is a section, 3 is a junior leader. So a bit of a mix there. So our first thing they're doing is the section here is going to fire at the Germans over here. The ones that have been firing, so they're firing at them in light cover. They need 5s and 6s to hit them anyway. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits this time, spread across those 2 German teams. So 2 hits on the smaller section, 6 is the kills, 4, 5 shock, 1 or a 2 does nothing, 3 hits on the larger section. So 4, 5, so they take another shock, so that puts them up to 2. So we've got the Soviet AT gun. It's reduced the shock because they've used a junior leader, and they're firing, so they need a 10 or above on 2d6. 7, that's a miss. So we're back on with the Soviet second phase. Oh, that's not great. So we've got a 4, senior leader, 2 2s and 2 1s. So it could be a junior leader at least, if nothing else, or 2 junior leaders. So they're going to use a junior leader with the anti-tank gun and then a junior leader with this section. So we'll do the anti-tank gun first. He's reduced shock, so it's down to 4. So he gets a +4 on their 5, so they need a 9 or above. So that's a 6, so that's a miss. But then we've got the other section down here firing again those Germans in the open. So let's have a look. 5s and 6s are hits. 2, 4, 6, 7 hits this time. Slightly above what they've been averaging at so far. So 3 are on the smaller team, 4 on the bigger team. So we'll do the bigger team first. 6 is the kills. So 1 kill and 1 shock on that bigger team. So let's just get that shock on. They have a junior leader and a senior leader in there. So let's see if one of those are hit. Yes, one of them is. 1 to 3 junior, 4 to 6 senior. It's the senior leader. See what happens to him. A 6, he is wounded until he's lightly wounded, so he has a reduction in his ability, so he's down to 3. So that means it's a roll when the bad things happen. So let's just do that quickly first of all for the Germans. A 4 on a senior leader wounded is 1 point off their force morale, so that takes them down to 8. That's not great. And then they have 3 hits on the other team. So that's a 6, that's another kill, and nothing. So let's see where that kill goes. 3, it's one of their rifles. So that has actually reduced their machine gun down to 1 crew now. So that is now firing at 6 dice instead of 8. Alright, the Germans are getting a bit bogged down in this now, so they're going to chuck in that last dice of theirs and just see what happens with it. So the 5 gives them another chain of command points at least, so that takes them up to 5. And then they have senior leader, junior, 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 and a section. So that's pretty much everything actually. That's a pretty good roll for what they wanted this turn. Right, there's quite a bit going on first of all here, and it's all going to depend really on what happens with the Marders. So we've given 2 junior leaders to the 2 junior leaders in each of the Marders. They're going to fire initially at the anti-tank gun over there. That's their plan. We then got the senior leader over here. He has reduced shock already off this section. He's only going to get them to fire at the infantry. And we've also got a senior leader over here, a junior leader over here, who will get his troops to move forward. And also we have another a section over here as well in this group, and they're probably going to move forward. But it all really depends on what's going to happen with these Marders and their firing first. So we'll start with the first one. 4, 5, 6 as a hits. So we've got 2 hits. So same again, 6 as a kills, 4, 5 shock. So that's a kill and a shock. Let's see if it's on their junior leader. No, it's not. It's on one of the crew. So that takes another hit. So now we have that second Marder firing. Same again, 4, 5, 6 as a hit. So 2 hits. God, they've never been able to achieve the same hits they did in that first couple of turns. So that's 2 hits. 6 as a kills again. So that's a shock. Okay, what we've done here is move 2 German sections forward, putting one onto Overwatch, watching this area over here with the junior leader, and then they've firing with the other one under the command of the senior leader, and he's basically just going to fire at these 2 sections here. So let's see what we get. 5, 6 as a hits. So 1, 2, 3, 4 hits in total. A lot of firepower, but not great. So 2 hits on each section basically. So do the smaller section first. 6 as a kills because they're in light cover. 1 and a 3 does nothing, and then 2 hits on the other section. 6 as a kills because of that light cover. 2 and a 3 does nothing again. This Soviet defence is pretty tenacious despite everything that the Germans are throwing at them. So they've got 2 6s. They're holding on to the phase. They've got another chain of command points, and they've got a 3 and a 2 and a 1. So that could be a junior leader. Okay, so over here we've got this Soviet section is using its junior leader to get them to fire at the section over here that they've been firing at. This section here will then react to that fire with their Overwatch and fire back at them. But we'll do the Soviet fire first. So we're looking at 5s and 6s to hit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits this time. Again, spread on those 2 teams. One of them is the smaller team, one is the larger team, so 4 on each hit. So we'll do the small teams first. 6 of the kills. So that's a kill and a shock. I'll just put a shock on just while I remember. And then a kill, so that's either wiped the team out or possibly hit one of the junior leaders or the senior leader. Let's have a look. A 1, no, so it's wiped that team out, so that's a bad things happen roll for the Germans. So let's take that section team off first of all and do that bad things happen roll. So we've rolled a 4. A 4 is -1 point, so the Germans are down to 7. And God, this is not going well, this attack. And then they've got 4 hits on that other team. So what we got, a 6 again is another kill, a 4 is another shock, and the 2 3s did nothing. I'm not going to a 4, but it was 2 3s. So that's a 2. Let's see if there is a hit on the leaders. No, there isn't, so it's rifleman is off. So that means the Germans are now firing back on their Overwatch. 5s and 6s again because they're just on effective range. But they're only firing with 1 team because that's the only one that can see. So we're looking at 5s and 6s, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. Just on this section here. 6 as a kills, 4, 5 shock. So we are on 2, 3 shock and a kill. Again, let's put that shock on just so I can remember. There's their shock, and then that kill. Is it on their junior leader? A 1, and he's hit. No, it's not. It's just on one of the rifles. So the German morale is dropping. The Soviets seem to be doing their job. They retained the phase again. This time it's junior leader, and a team this time. Okay, what the Soviets have done this time is they're using this junior leader here to reduce that shock down to 1 that they took, and then getting them to fire again at that target they were firing at previously. The other junior leader with the anti-tank gun has just reduced shock, so he brought it down to 4 instead of the 6 that they were on. So we're firing with these. First of all, they don't get any return fire this time. 5s and 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 hits, all on that one team that's remaining. So let's see what happens with that. So that's 1 kill and 2 shock this time. So we'll put the shock on, so that takes them up to 4. And see if it's either their junior or their senior leader who's in there as well. So 1. No, so it's one of the rifles. Right, so it's the Soviets' phase again. So they've kept it again. So a 3 means the turn has ended, but there's nothing to come off. Everybody's already off Overwatch. We've got 4 senior leader, a 2 is a section. With that section, the Soviets are doing the same thing again. They are firing with this section down here at the same target. 5s and 6s are hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. So on those, there's only 2 men left there, but there's also, well, 4 men left really. So let's just see what happens. So that's 1 kill and 2 more shocks. So they are actually pinned, I think, at this point. Yeah, because there's only 4 men. That's 6 shock. And one of them is killed. See if it's a junior leader or a senior leader. No, it's neither. So that has almost taken out that machine gun team. So that means they are 1 more shock or 1 more kill and they will be broken. So the Soviets are keeping up this punishing fire. This time 6 does nothing on its own. 2 5s gives them a full chain of command point. So that's pretty good. And they have a 1 and a 2. Soviets have combined the 1 and the 2 into a 3, given it to the junior leader on the gun here. He's reduced shock, so they're down to 3, so they need a 5, so they need an 8 or above to hit one of those marders. 7, no, they can't hit a barn door at 30 paces. Alright, we're back to the Germans. Let's see what they do in their turn. 6, that gives them a chain of command points at least, so that takes them up to 6. So that's a full chain of command dice. 4 is the senior leader, 2 1s and a 3. Okay, what we're doing over here is the German senior leader has reduced, he's used that 4, he's reduced 2 of their shock, and then he was going to move to join the sections over here. However, the Soviets have spent their chain of command dice, and they are interrupting that turn, and they're firing with this section at this group again to try to hit that junior leader, that senior leader, and reduce some of the German morale. So let's see if they do that. 5s and 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits this time. So let's just see if how many of those are kills. 6 of the kills, 4, 5 shock. So we've got 2 kills in there and 2 shock. Well, the kill has destroyed that team, one of the kills. So there's another kill left over there. So there's no point putting the shock on. That's off, that team is off, so that's going to be a bad things happen anyway. So we've got another hit, another wound. So let's see which it is. 1 to 3, it's the senior leader. 4 to 6, it's the... so it's 1 to 3, so that's the senior leader. So let's see what happens to him. 1 is killed outright. 2, 3 is wounded till the end of the turn. 4, 5, 6, he's lightly wounded. So 4, 5, 6, he's lightly wounded. He's already spent 2 of his activations, so he's actually stuck there because he reduced their shock. That was the first thing he did. So we now have 2 bad things happen. We've got a team wiped out. First of all, roll for that. 6, that's not going to be good. Team wiped out. 1 point off, so the Germans are now down to 5. Then we've got senior leader wounded again, so roll for that. A 3, that is another point off. So the Germans are now down to 5 on their force morale. Oh, that was a bad turn for them, and he's stuck in the open as well. So now the Germans are using their team over here to fire, and they're firing at this section as well. So 4, 5, 6s, 5 6s to hit. Sorry, at this range. So 1, 2, that's 3 hits, and it's all just 1. So we'll roll 3 dice. 6 is a kill, so that's 2 kills actually, but no shock. See if that kill is on their junior leader. 1 or 2 it is. 5, no it's not. It's on 2 of the rifles. So that's taking their hits up at least. So the final thing the Germans are doing is firing their Marder with their junior leader. He's firing across at the anti-tank gun. 4, 5, 6 is a hits. So that's 2 hits. Seems to be pretty average for them at this point. 6 is the kills. 4, 5 shock. So neither, 1 and a 2. So nothing. Well, the Soviets are absolutely battering the Germans here. But 6 on its own does nothing. But they got 2 3s, 2 junior leaders, a 4 senior leader, and a 2 is a section. Right, this time the Soviets are using one of their junior leaders to fire at the AT gun. He's reduced shock down to 2, firing at the Marders. So we're firing on a 7 or above is a hit. Double 6, that is something special. A double 6 gives them an extra 3d6 onto their strike dice. They already have a strike dice of 7 anyway. 2, 4, 6, 7 plus the 3, so that's 10. So 5s and 6s. Let's have a look. We've got only 1 hit out of all of that. Marders are defending on 5s and 6s, so that's 1 net hit. So we re-roll that. 1 is no effect, so it just bounces off. Then the second Soviet junior, second section over here is firing, and they're going to fire at the junior and senior leader who are out there. So let's just see, 5s and 6s are hits. So we want to reduce that the force morale. 1, 2, 3 hits on those 2. So we're going to have to do a bit of house ruling here and just divide these up. So we've got, I'm going to say 1 hit on each. First of all, they were in light cover, so the German decides which one they want to put it on. So I'm going to put it on the junior leader. Let's see what happens to both of them. First of all, the junior leader can actually only take 2 wounds anyway, so he is killed. No, well then that's the case. Let's put the 2 hits on the senior leader. So just to make sure that they may survive. So but then he can only take 2 more hits anyway. So I'd rather have the junior leader killed than the senior leader. So the junior leader has been killed. So that's going to be a bad things happen roll. So let's have a look at that. I think we'll roll that. A 5 on a junior leader killed this time. Minus 2 points. So that drops the Germans down to 1, 2, down to 3 now. And then we've got that 1 hit on the senior leader. Let's see what happens to him. 1 is killed outright, otherwise he's wounded anyway. 1 killed outright. This is awful. So we've got senior leader killed. So we roll for this. A 3. It's never going to be good anyway. Senior leader killed. A 3 is another 2 points off the German morale. They are now down to 1 on their force morale. So that's him off as well. And then we have the other section is going to fire at this team that is popping out over here. So these are firing with 2 LMGs and their rifle. This is going terribly for the Germans. 5s and 6s are hits. That was cocked, so I'll re-roll that one. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 hits, and it's just on that one team of the LMG and the riflemen. So let's see. They are. I'm going to put them in light cover because they're just slightly behind that building. They'll be using the building as cover. So 6 is a kill, and 5 is a shock. And I'm going to say that their junior leader probably can't be killed because he's behind the building. And he's in hard cover, so he can't be seen. So it's one of the rifles. Okay, with that final shooting from the Soviets, the Germans are down to a force morale of 1, so they are going to just forget this particular scenario. They've lost. They are going to start falling back. There's no Soviets in the way, so at least they can make it back off the table. But this is a German loss, a great Soviet victory for them. Well done them. The AT gun held its own. Didn't manage to destroy any Marders, but at least stayed on the table for as long as it could. And same with these sections over here as well. They'll probably get merged into one section for the next game, but this is going to have to be fought over again at some point. So, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. This was another good game of Chain of Command. If you've enjoyed it, please do subscribe if you haven't already. Also, check out my Patreon. Also, check me out on Twitter as well, SOS Wargaming. And say hello. So, thanks, as I say, thanks for watching.